After finishing the frame last week, the house was wrapped up, tight as a drum, in blue tarps. And now, whatever is being done is happening behind those tarps. Sometimes I notice a light is on in there, and sometimes the light is on well after dark. Fitting to have a house of mystery so close to Halloween. I have seen a couple of workers emerge from the blue tarps to work on the porch roof. The roof is an interesting story in itself. We were given a limited number of choices for roof color from the Hakuba Town Hall. I guess they're concerned how the town looks from a drone or maybe from an alien UFO perspective. Anyway, we could choose from a couple browns, a green, a dark blue, black, or gray. There were probably a few other colors, but we decided dark blue would suit us just fine. It's actually the same color as all of the houses around us, but it looks different on each one. I've learned a few things since the last episode, so while showing you some video of the autumn foliage that has blanketed our mountains, I'll tell you what I've learned. One of the things I hadn't imagined is the kind of support people offer when taking on such an undertaking as this. Many of you who are watching now have helped us make decisions and understand the decisions we're making. Many have offered suggestions and explanations. Naturally, none of you had any obligation to do so, and that is why we appreciate it so much. I've now communicated online and in person with people I might never have met before starting this channel. We are learning so much thanks to your comments and contacts, so I'd like to start expressing my appreciation now. Thank you. And now on to some of the other things I've learned. One key point is about the design itself and its connection to the wood used in that house raising last week. When we started designing the house on paper, we were locked into some basic guidelines. Houses in Japan are designed in grid patterns, with each segment measuring 91 centimeters squared. That may seem random until you consider that there are 12 inches to a foot, 3 feet to a yard, and 1,760 yards to a mile. So what is random? But 91 centimeters is actually the measurement of the width of a standard tatami mat. That's where the number comes from. Anyway, houses are designed on these grids, and everything is more or less measured in grid segments. Splitting a grid segment is basically not done, especially regarding the exterior of the house. For example, when I wanted to increase the footprint of our house by half a grid segment, or 45 centimeters, I was told that it would be very expensive to do so. Extending it by the full 91 centimeters would be cheaper. I didn't understand that at the time, but now, thanks to your comments, I do understand it. You see, all that wood that was machine cut into those intricate joining patterns was pre-cut by a factory. Our builder did not do it in his workshop, and honestly speaking, he probably couldn't have. He wouldn't have been able to afford the kind of machinery necessary to make those mortises and tenons. So he ordered the wood from a wood-cutting factory. That's what most builders do in Japan. There are many wood-cutting factories all over Japan, and they all operate under the assumption that all the posts and beams will be measured off in segments of that grid. In other words, all the wood for every house in Japan that is of a reasonable budget is measured off in multiples of that 91 centimeters. It makes it possible for those pre-cut factories to easily produce wood for even custom builds like ours. However, the minute we deviate from the multiples of 91 centimeters, we become problem clients, and the budget starts reflecting that. It isn't impossible to build a house of random dimensions, but it is expensive, and it isn't a problem easily solved with a circular saw. Needless to say, some of the larger builders in Japan, and probably the world over, are doing more than just pre-cutting the wood posts and beams. Flat pack construction is common here, where in the extreme, entire pre-built walls are delivered to the site, placed by a crane and bolted in using bolts not dissimilar from the ones holding our beams in place. Clients just choose from set floor plans and options like car buying. I've seen those houses built back in Nagoya, and they are interesting. In a week, the whole house looked finished from the outside. Often, those houses have some pretty serious curb appeal too. But I also wondered if there was any real wood in those houses at all. And we really wanted real wood in our house. So, back on our land, things are plugging along. But we noticed some concerning things about the red pine right in front of the house. The needles are yellowing fast. This week, we've got a meeting with a horticulturalist to find out if the tree has been damaged by the build. I'll let you know about the results of our meeting in the next episode.